The Occupy movement and police have confronted each other in several cities around the country, but protests in Los Angeles have remained peaceful. Darren Johnson went to the Occupy camp and joins us in the studio.
LA's camp looks like many of the others. Dozens of tents set up in front of City Hall. But unlike the violence at some Occupy sites, demonstrators here seem determined to remain peaceful. The Occupy movement has now been going for over 2 months. And to mark the 2-month anniversary, Occupy LA took to the streets and ended up right at the front porch of the Bank of America building in the financial district of downtown LA. That day's protests were orchestrated nationwide among the different Occupy groups.
There were conference calls. We had Maestro Conference and a number of other online services where 200 plus encampments around the United States participated and planned November 17th as a 2-month anniversary set of actions that would take place everywhere, focused on the banking sector.
Recent unrest at other Occupy sites, as well as arrests made earlier that day, highlighted the question of whether or not Occupy LA's protests would occur without any violence. The LAPD's presence was certainly felt. Some occupiers were not happy with their presence.
On our end, we were peaceful and disciplined. On their end, they were serving the interests of the rich and the powerful.
While the police maintained they were not at the protest to promote any agenda.
I don't choose any side.
LAPD Chief Charlie Beck released a statement on the LAPD's involvement with the protests, stating, "My job is to protect the rights of all persons and to ensure that the public is safe at all times. It is always a fine line that we walk in our efforts to protect the First Amendment." Dozens of LA protesters were arrested for blocking traffic and trespassing, but no major incidents were reported. There have been some evictions and other attempts to move Occupy protesters in other locations across the country, including New York. Whether LA city officials will follow suit remains unclear. But for now, Occupy LA goes on. Valley View's Mark Sherman also visited the LA site and reports on the day-to-day life in the camp.
The complex setup is starting to look more like a city than a protest. There's even neighborhoods within the Occupy LA community. Rob has been here since the planning stages of the protest in late September. He says a couple weeks ago, occupiers started organizing and naming their own villages.
As you can see, it's different villages now. You have Media Village over here. You have Production Village over here. The Bike Village is like the bikers.
Eric has been at City Hall since October 1st. He came by himself, but has since formed a 12-tent house with other protesters.
Yeah, I'm over here at that big camp. A couple of them, I've known before, and others I've met.
There's even a Skid Row, where some of LA's homeless have found a safe place to stay. Outside of the individual villages, there are community areas that add to the organization of the occupation. The food tent takes in donations and distributes snacks and drinks to members of the movement. Kids Village offers children a place to play together. They can even convey their own concerns about the government through arts and crafts. The Art and Temple tent gives talented artists the opportunity to express themselves. There's even a library at Occupy LA, stocked with about 250 books. Within the Occupy LA community, there's about 20 committees, like the Arts and Culture, Social Services, and Facilitations committees. Most committees meet publicly every day. The biggest meeting of the day happens at 7:30 p.m. The nightly General Assembly meeting is for everybody involved in the movement. Occupiers can let their voices be heard on issues important to them. They are also encouraged to let other speakers know whether or not they approve of what they're saying. After the General Assembly meeting, people hang out in the common areas until about 1 or 2 in the morning. It's not until around 9 a.m. that activity starts to pick up again. All the occupiers I talked to said they feel safe here at City Hall. Nobody has been demonstrating violently, and the police haven't disrupted the community much at all. Unlike other Occupy camps around the country, Occupy LA seems to have some staying power. From City Hall in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Mark Sherman with Valley View News.
President Obama says Europe must find a way to solve its own debt crisis. At the G20 summit in France, Obama did not pledge money to the European bailout fund. The stance is a turnaround from 2009 when Obama rallied the G20 in favor of international stimulus to avoid a global meltdown. Analysts say the lack of commitment from the U.S. is a sign of weak economy. It also reflects the rise of other world powers. Administration officials say the U.S. can make an impact at the summit without investing American dollars.
A group of California billionaires and political insiders say they will place a $10 billion tax increase on the 2012 ballot. The Think Long Committee says the proposal will raise an additional $5 billion for public schools and universities every year. The group's plan is to lower the state's personal income and sales tax rates. It would create a new charge of more than 5% on services not currently taxed, such as legal work or accounting.
Shoppers are already lining up outside stores to be the first to get their hands on Black Friday deals. Retailers often cut prices the day after Thanksgiving to get the holiday shopping season off to a strong start. Tito Hernandez and Christine Otra have been camping outside the Florida Best Buy since Monday.
It's great. We think it's fantastic, and we welcome everyone to come out.
The National Retail Federation estimates up to 152 million people will shop the Black Friday weekend.
Here's the scoop. Taylor Cage has the latest Hollywood news and the winners of the 2011 American Music Awards.
It's a great day for Michael Jackson fans around the world. The late King of Pop is releasing the newest album called Immortal. It's the soundtrack to Cirque du Soleil, Michael Jackson The Immortal World Tour. A total of 42 songs can be heard on the deluxe 2-CD album. Fans will have the opportunity to hear portions of Jackson's greatest hits. Rap legend Heavy D was laid to rest after collapsing at his Beverly Hills home. Rappers P. Diddy and Jay-Z attended the funeral at the Grace Baptist Church in New York. A Reverend Al Sharpton read the eulogy in President Obama's letter of condolences at the closed casket ceremony. The official cause of the 44-year-old's death is unknown. Bee Gees singer Robin Gibb is reportedly battling liver cancer. Britain's newspaper, the Daily Mail, says the 61-year-old was diagnosed months ago. Gibb recently canceled several shows because of the abdominal pains. Gibb says he feels great and has yet to comment further on his current health conditions. The Boss is going back on the road. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band have announced they will be going on a 2012 tour. This will be their first tour performance in almost 3 years. It's also the first time Springsteen will be performing with the band since the death of his saxophonist Clarence Clemons earlier this year. The group has planned to travel to Europe between May and July to perform. As for all U.S. tour dates, have not been confirmed by the group. On Springsteen's website, he hints at a new but so far untitled album. Team Edward and Team Jacob took a bite out of the box office. The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 earned $139 million, making it the 5th highest debuting film. Another sequel, Happy Feet 2, came in second place with $22 million. Last week's #1 Immortals fell to the 3rd spot. Immortals has grossed $52.9 million since the November 11th opening. It was definitely ladies' night at the American Music Awards. Female vocalists dominate the 2011 AMA as Taylor Swift was yet again the top winner. She picked up 3 awards, including Favorite Country Female Artist, Country Album, and Artist of the Year. Pop musician Adele received 2 statues for Favorite Female Pop Rock Music Artist and Pop Rock Music Album. Katy Perry lost in the traditional categories, but she was honored on stage for being the first woman to have 5 #1 singles from a single album. Nicki Minaj took home both Favorite Rap Hip Hop Artist and Favorite Album. That's all for entertainment. Back to you, ladies.
New York authorities have arrested a man they say was plotting to bomb soldiers returning from Iraq and Afghanistan. 27-year-old Jose Pimentel was also reportedly planning to target U.S. post offices in New York and New Jersey. Police described the native of the Dominican Republic as an al-Qaeda sympathizer. Authorities have been monitoring Pimentel since 2009.
A transgender woman was shot and killed in Los Angeles. 32-year-old Nathan Vickers died of a gunshot wound to the chest. Authorities are unaware of the motive for the attack. No one has been arrested. Coming up next, another championship is brought to LA and USC upsets a top-ranked opponent.